Hi guys, welcome back to Only Phantoms. My name's Tom, and this is...
Sammy.
Oh, you forgot your name then, wow.
No, I thought you were going to introduce me then, and then
I
you
should
just
have done
didn't.
really.
Yeah.
What? I'm not a gentleman.
No. Anything but, yeah.
So, this is stupid. When we're just setting up our whole thing, we have 2 extra microphones over there, which we use for another podcast, and we realised it's only been accepting one the whole time. So, we've been wondering whether the sound has been a bit bad, but now we fucking know.
Because only one microphone was being picked up the whole time.
Because we don't have a mixer, we have a whatever that is, Sammy.
Oh, that's just an extension cord thing for USBs.
So yeah, we plugged them all into there, into the Mac, and we were convinced that it was all working. We had like a comment on one of them. They're like, "Oh, they need like individual separate microphones." We're like, "Fuck you." Then we're like, "Shit." He was right the whhole time.
To be honest, in the back of my mind this whole time as well, I've been like, because I'm the techie person. I say that, I'm not at all, but I am the most techie out of us two, aren't I?
Compared to me, yeah. Right now.
And I've always like been like, oh, I'm pretty sure it's just coming out as one. Because some episodes, one person sounds a lot better than others, and it's just...
I can't believe it.
Yeah. So that's the next investment into another microphone.
Well, yeah, a little mixer, anyway.
Anyway, that's our life story. How's your week gone?
I wasn't hearing voices back now. Or are you talking to me?
No, I was just asking in general, guys. Let us know down below. How's your week gone? Yeah, hello. Welcome back to Only Phantoms. We are Tom and Sammy, as we've already said. We were the Bath couple, but now we've gone towards more...
Podcast spooky stuff and
podcast spooky, all the stuff that we love. So if you enjoy random spooky stuff, conspiracies, God, what else? History.
And yeah, anything really strange, basically.
Anything abnormal.
Yeah.
Then subscribe and like if you enjoy the story. Obviously, you know what it's going to be by the title. We upload our podcast on Mondays, so that's the main RSS feed. So it goes out to a number of different apps and places. I can't name them all, but just to name one, Spotify.
Yeah,
because I can't remember the rest.
And Amazon and Apple and everything like that.
Oh god, yeah.
And then we upload the video version to YouTube on a Friday, so you can watch our ugly mugs.
So we're sat here looking at a camera right now. Yeah. If you're listening via podcast. Yeah, you get to actually see us on Friday if you want to tune in.
Just pressed up against a window like,
hi. Yeah, this week's episode is being told by Tom.
Yeah, well, so because this is going to land at the very end of November, isn't it?
Yeah.
We had a different schedule, and this is going to go out at the start of November, which would make sense to you. But I'm going to talk about Guy Fawkes and the gunpowder plot. Which I love that story. And I'm sure it needs to happen again, like.
I don't know what the story is, so yes, you do please tell us, Tom.
Okay, I will.
Just a little disclaimer as well, if you hear a dog rustling around, some toy squeaking or something like that, we tried to stop him, but we have a little collie called Shelby, and he likes to make himself known sometimes.
Because at the moment he's asleep underneath us.
I like whispering too.
So don't say his name. Okay then, so remember the 5th of November. This is usually said before we blow shit up in England. We can't anymore because we've got a dog, we're not allowed to.
No, instead of going out enjoying the fireworks, we have to sit in, cradling our shaking dog.
Yeah, just like trying to ignore, and there's like a dog upstairs as well, so I love fireworks, I love blowing shit up, but I'd love to be setting some off in the garden, but I can't, in all good faith, kill our dog and upstairs as well.
In good faith, I'm going to kill my dog. No, but but they are coming out with silent ones now, aren't they? Well, they say silent, but they still give off a little noise, but not as loud as normal fireworks.
Why? Like you want to...
Because of animals, all like horses, livestock, and everything.
Yeah.
It's for the pretty, isn't it?
It's for the pretty.
It's for the party.
Well, the war horses got over it, didn't they? So our fucking dog needs to. Anyway.
Well, they're trained.
So why do we set off fireworks on this day? The story of the failed gunpowder plot, which dates back to 1605, when Guy Fawkes attempted to blow up James I and the old House of Lords during the opening of Parliament. Which, I love history, I didn't actually realise it was 1605 that long back. I couldn't believe it.
No.
I was like, when I read it, I was like, that's a typo. Like, really? 1605.
But James I, he was Mary Queen of Scots' son.
Yeah, and King, is it the 6th of Scotland or 7th?
He's King James the 6th, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's the 6th of Scotland and also the 1st of England.
The 1st of England, but yeah, because he took over from Elizabeth I, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that kind of makes sense when you think of it in that way. But then when you think of just Guy Fawkes, you don't think that it was that early.
Especially because you think like Henry VIII, then his 2 daughters, then James I.
Yeah.
Like, it's that close, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, most people don't realise that the plan was made by a man named Robert Catesby, who was a devout Catholic and hoped to kill the Protestant King James and bring the country back into Catholicism.
So Henry brought in Catholicism, didn't
Yeah.
he? Everyone was Protestants before.
Yeah, and then I believe... Oh, no, I might mess this up. The history buffs out here, please. But I'm sure it went... So, Catholic Henry VIII, Mary, Bloody Mary...
Before Mary, there was Edward, wasn't there?
No, but as in like... Oh, but yeah, he's a fucking ready to shit today.
No.
He was the same as his dad. He's Catholic as well. But
So
then,
Catholic, yeah.
Then Mary, I'm sure she went...
Protestant.
And then Elizabeth went Catholic, and then James I went Protestant again.
Did he?
Yeah. That's what this is about. Casey was a Catholic, trying to blow up the Protestant king.
Ah, yeah, because Scotland was Protestant as well, weren't they? They weren't Catholic at all. It was just England. Yeah. Yeah, but I think Elizabeth, she didn't necessarily say, right, we are all Protestants, we are all Catholics or anything like that. She kind of was like, you be who you want to be. No. I'm going to be.
No.
I'm pretty sure that's what she did.
Opposite.
Really?
She killed a lot of people. Robert Catesby showed almost no interest in religion until his father, Sir William Catesby, died. After this, Robert became obsessed with Catholicism. Robert became tangled in the Earl of Essex's rebellion in 1601. Catesby was spared jail, but had to pay a £3,000 fine, which costs around $763,000 in today's money.
Oh my god. How did he have that money, though?
Well, he got it from his inheritance from his daddy.
Okay, fair. Daddy's money.
So for a while, he had to sell his inheritance to pay the fine. In 1603, Robert Catesby, with others, tried to persuade the Catholic Spanish to go to war with the Protestant English, but this fell on deaf ears, as it would have been catastrophic to the Spanish interests. So I think there was like a peace deal going on at that point, so if you started that war, then good luck. Because you got...
Not good.
Also, in those times, you'd have... I know Spain was pretty powerful, but you'd have England and Scotland at the same time then against you. Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Not a good move.
Nay messing. In 1604, Catesby came up with a sinister plan to blow up the Houses of Parliament, killing King James. The plan was made in Robert Catesby's house with 2 others, John Wright and Thomas Winter. Thomas Winter was given the task to travel to the Netherlands to enlist Guy Fawkes.
Dun dun dun. Oh, he's from the Netherlands?
No, he went there.
Oh, I was going to say.
He's from York.
Of course he is, yeah, okay.
Guy Fawkes or Guido Fawkes. So I always thought it was going to be like Guido Fawkes, but I saw a man from York pronounce it as Guido, so I'll trust him because he clearly lives there.
From Yorkshire.
Well, yeah. Guido Fawkes was born in York in 1570 and died in 1606, which we'll get into.
Dun dun. Is it suspicious?
The amount of dun dun duns I've heard.
Sorry.
Is it suspicious?
No, his death suspicious, like... Oh, okay, sorry. You said we'll get into that later. I thought it was like a build-up.
Yeah, but have you heard the story before ever?
No, I actually haven't.
Okay, cool.
I know it's been on in the background while you've been doing your research, but I've been playing Sims, so I just...
That's true, right? I can't believe I thought you sounded a bit... When you said that then, I thought that was sarcasm. I'm like, what the fuck did you say?
I am very sarcastic as well, so it's very hard to read my tone and expression.
Yeah. So Fawkes had been heavily into Catholicism from a very young age, right up until the end. He also became a soldier in 1592 and fought bravely in many battles. So the next man to enlist was Thomas Percy Stewart, the Earl of Northumberland.
Northumberland.
Because of his connections to the elite, he would become a main asset to the plot. All 5 men met together and swore an oath of secrecy. At this point, there was no going back. The plan was now in full motion. So they all went together in a room and basically said like a Catholic prayer to like kind of seal it and be like, this is it. Can't go back now. Don't tell anyone.
Only us in this room know of this plan. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah. Robert Cecil, who was in the King's Secret Service, was a master of secrecy. He hid in the shadows and managed to find information by any means necessary. He had spies called discoverers that were mixed in Catholic circles, gaining information like names and plans, which he fed back to the king. He was literally the king's right-hand man.
Oh. So, and he was in the inner circle.
Yeah, he had guys in there.
Oh,
It was crazy. He was really, really, really clever. But he also, I watched on that Gunpowder, the one with Kit Harington. Watch it. It's a sick little series. A 3-part series. Amazing.
What's it called? Gunpowder.
Gunpowder, yeah. But the bloke plays it now. He was like walking around with like a neck like that. I was like, what is that about?
Like what? Sorry.
Like crooked. like his neck to the right. I can't remember. One side. But yeah, Robert Cecil had some kind of deformity in his spine or neck or something, so his head was always to one side.
So he was a little bit crooked anyway.
Yeah.
Oh. Imagine that felt so dizzy. Obviously you'll get used to it, wouldn't you? But like walking around a bit wonky, I'd be dizzy.
That'd be a really creepy ghost to see.
That's true.
Even the discoverers had their own spies. So his spies in the circles had their own spies in the circles.
So spies had spies.
Yeah. So if any bit of information was coming out, he was going to find out.
Yeah, that's cool. That's quite a good position to be in.
Yeah.
Damn.
So the king's ears were everywhere. As you can imagine, any plan small or as big as the gunpowder plot would have been discovered eventually. Now for the last man to join the plot, William Parker. William Parker, who was also in Essex's rebellion in 1601, was a devout Catholic, but later petitioned for the title of Lord Monteagle and became a Protestant. So how on earth they let an ex-Catholic rebel so fiercely into this position, I'll never know. It's fucking weird. He's just like, I'm Protestant now.
Come on in, love. Take a seat.
Yeah, it is absolutely mind-boggling. The first step in this plot started with Thomas Percy, who managed to rent a building next to the intended target. The men would dig a tunnel under the House of the Lords and place the gunpowder into position. They needed to trust a caretaker to watch over the building when the men were not there. Robert Keyes was trusted with this job and was sworn into the circle.
Can I just ask? So, did they know that they were storing gunpowder there? If they knew, were they allowed to store explosives? I know, nowadays they'll be like, no, you don't store explosives right here. Do you know what this place is? They would store it elsewhere, wouldn't they?
No one knew until later on.
Oh, sorry, I'm stepping on your toes.
You are stepping all over my grave here.
Apologise.
The digging started in 1604, and after 6 weeks of digging, they had had nothing more than a tunnel full of water coming from the River Thames close by. So they were just digging down, and the River Thames just spilling into
just
it. Yeah,
and getting gunpowder wet, which is obviously.
Well, they didn't even store it at that point. It's just getting ready to store it.
Okay.
Most of the group gave up, apart from Robert Caseby and Thomas Percy. They enlisted a further 4 men to the cause: John Grant, Christopher Wright, Robert Winter, and Thomas Bates. So now you can tell this is starting to get a bit sketchy because you've got all these extra people now into this. So if anyone's going to say someone goes they get drunk, they're going to spill information so easy.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't think I've ever been that drunk to spill. I've been drunk, don't get me wrong, but I've never been to be spill information or.
No, because usually
not that I've got information to spill, but
nothing. Spill some beans. But usually I get drunk. Where I could probably spill information had I had any. But then I'm too drunk to talk at that point. So
yeah,
you're
just slurring your words anyway. So
just give me a pen. I'll try and do what I can do.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll try.
I feel like that. I feel like cocky people do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I know something you don't know. That kind of person comes out when they're drunk.
Yeah.
Whereas I just get giggly and really chatty, but in a
bubbly way.
A bubbly way. I'm just a bubbly person.
I just like sitting in an old Chesterfield, just sat there with a
minding
cigar.
your own business.
Honestly, I couldn't give a shit.
With the fire lit.
That's all I want to do. I don't understand going out to clubs. I know I'm old, but I ain't that old.
No, I love a pub. I love an old pub, honestly.
With a little local landlord dog wandering around.
Yeah, a little companion.
Some pub, anyway. No.
Anyway, next episode for pubs, yes.
Not long after, the group discovered that the vault under the House of Lords had become vacant.
So even better location.
Dead underneath this is. Thomas Percy immediately rented the vault, and the failed plan was back on track. This seemed like God was on their side, but the vault became vacant on purpose, thanks to Robert Cecil.
So they planned, like, they were like, oh, give up your vote, honestly.
Yeah, so
like, somebody else will get it.
That's how good that Robert Cecil was to the king. He knew stuff was happening.
Yeah.
And he's like, you've given him options to fail.
Yeah.
But get caught. He's fucking...
Oh.
Monteagle was now passing the little bits of information he could receive back to Cecil, and all the names of the main plotters were given over. Thomas Percy even rented the vault under his own name.
That's a stupid... I suppose you probably thought, like, oh, don't worry, they're not going to look into it that much. Like, it'll be over and done with by the time I get caught.
Yeah, it'd be done. But nobody there to worry about it.
Yeah, but actually...
Hmm.
Oh.
Monteagle was giving stuff to Robert, and he was like, okay, we'll make this a bit easier for them and really obvious. We'll just open the entire vault underneath the House of Lords, dead underneath where the king's going to be sat, and empty it. Mm-hmm. So now they're screwed now. They don't even know it. The men set up multiple bases in the Midlands to flee to after the explosion. The explosion that was left to Guy Fawkes to carry out and light the fuse himself. So he just went, everyone else kind of like ran away and hid, and then Guy Fawkes was down there on his own.
He was the main man to... Okay.
Yeah. Some of the group felt uneasy about the fact that some Catholic sympathiser lords would also perish. So that they had some Catholics in the House of Lords as well.
But as a sacrifice, I'm willing to make.
Exactly. Some wanted to send a warning to them, but Catesby thought this was madness. Eventually the group came to an agreement, and Catesby himself tried to persuade Monteagle to find himself absent on the day of the plot. So what?
Suspect.
That's it. I said Monteagle. Remember, Monteagle, Robert Cecil, the king. So now it's like, God.
Yep.
Thomas Percy in October, just a month before the plan, lost his nerve and tried to turn himself in.
Oh my God.
And released all the plotters' names and details of the plan. Robert Cecil didn't want Percy to ruin his fun and ignored his pleas for an audience with him. Later, Percy carried on with the plot after no success of turning the men in. What a snake.
so he wants to be on the winning side no matter what, basically.
He basically like lost his nerve. He's like, oh nah, this is real bad. This is gonna go wrong. Went straight to Robert Cecil, and Robert Cecil like, nah, I've got a plan. Don't ruin this for me, you motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, you don't want to meet me anyway, so he just went back to the same guys again. He was gonna just
dob in.
Yeah. Dob in. Cecil decided that the plot would be discovered via an anonymous letter sent to Monteagle.
Anonymous.
And handed into King James himself. This is the letter translated to modern English. I'm sorry, I'm going to read it out. It's not long, but I was going to try and learn the Old English one, but I would have failed so bad. I would have said everything wrong.
Do you know what? That does blow my mind, though. Sorry, just quickly. Like, when you think of Henry VIII and stuff, and then you see the like love stories, love letters and stuff, they seem quite normal. Yeah. Like they just seem like really like, oh, it's so lovely. But then, just like when you listen to how they would have spoke, it's really weird. I always think they would just speak like we did, but they don't at all.
No, it's what was one of them? It's saying, I love how like dramatic King Henry was. I think it's Susanna Limscombe was saying, someone close to him, someone in his royal group, was doing something wrong, and he said to him, but it sounds like you would say in like a letter, but he actually said it in person. He's like, I could not but... Oh, what was it he said? Oh man, I fucking just had it onto my tongue.
Sorry,
was it? He was like, I could not but marvel at your issues, or something like that. It's like, wow.
And he actually did it.
So yeah. So this is the anonymous letter sent to Monteagle and handed to the king. So, translate from Old English to modern English. It still makes no sense. My lord, out of the love I bear to some of your friends, I have a care of your preservation. Therefore, I would advise you, as you tender your life, to devise some excuse to shift off your attendance at his parliament. For God and man have conquered to punish the wickedness of this time. I think not slightly of this advertisement, but retire yourself into your country, where you may expect the event in safety. He just has no like.
It's not really flowy, is it?
No, I'm sure it would have been. For though there be no appearance of any stir, yet I say they shall receive a terrible blow this Parliament, and yet they shall not see who hurts them. This counsel is not to be contemned, but because it may do you good and can do you no harm. For the danger is past as soon as you have burnt the letter, and I hope God will give you the grace to make good use of it, to whose holy protection I commend you. I'd have been like, huh?
What?
What?
So
What
they
do you-
don't know where or what's going to happen then? Because
No.
that letter just says, don't be in Parliament this day.
Yeah, but King James himself actually, when he read the thing, he's like, he riddled it to be gunpowder. Somehow he figured out it's going to be a gunpowder thing.
So there probably was a riddle in the letter then, like...
Well,
Yeah.
he was the only one to figure it out, though. He was the only one to be like, this is gunpowder. I think he's like, because this Parliament will blow, and then there's a thing about after you burn this letter, so he must have put the two together, like, blow, burn, that's an explosion.
Yeah, gunpowder.
I don't know, anyway.
Clever.
So, King James read it aloud in front of his shocked ministers, and they all concluded that the letter suggests some kind of plot, perhaps using gunpowder to do the job.
Perhaps.
A search party was sent out, and on the King's lucky day, the 5th of November, Sir Thomas Crevett discovered Guy Fawkes under the Houses of Parliament with no less than 36 barrels of gunpowder buried beneath coal and firewood.
Caught red-handed.
Yeah, absolutely. Guy Fawkes was supposed to light the fuse and flee on horseback and be long out of sight when the explosion happened.
On this specific day.
Yeah.
That's why he was there.
Yeah. So
it wasn't so he was just like checking the gunpowder, bringing it in or anything. He was about to...
He was he was the man. That was his job. He was to light the fuse.
Yeah.
And get on a horse and fucking nail it out of there.
However.
Robert Catesby and his men fled for the Midlands after discovering that the plot had folded, and they were now wanted for treason, which back then was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
On the way to Stephen Litterson's Holbeck house near Stourbridge, Catesby tried to recruit more men to the cause, but failed. Knowing the King's men would soon be at their heels, they braced for a battle at Holbeck. Whilst this was happening, Guy Fawkes was undergoing torture to reveal all the names involved. It is said that he held his tongue for 5 days. He was
brilliant. Like, if you're being tortured, 5 days.
God, back then as well.
Yeah.
So he was put on the rack. Everyone knows that, but God only knows what else they did to him. So Sammy's going to put up a picture here. If you're listening on listening on WhatsApp? If you're listening on the podcast, go to YouTube. You can see this. So there's a picture of his signature beforehand on some other document. Then there's one after. And his hands must have been just destroyed.
Yeah.
You can just about make out the G is similar, but the rest of it is just nonsense. Back at Holbeck House, Catesby and his men were surrounded. Catesby and Thomas Percy burst out the door together with their swords drawn. Both were shot dead. Apparently the shot that killed Catesby passed through Thomas first, so it was a spent round as well.
Oh my God.
Now,
that's some money saving.
Well, yeah.
Don't 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah. But I think it's dramatised, but someone said that Robert Catesby crawled on it, because there was a church nearby, and he crawled up to the church and died there, but I think that's just fucking...
That's good going,
yeah.
Crawling that far, because I can't imagine... nearby, but...
Yeah, but I think like on the grounds, there's a little chapel or something, but if he did, that's a good way to go.
Yeah. If you're a holy man, yeah.
And he was.
And he was.
Those that weren't killed at Holbeck were Thomas Winter, Robert Winter, John Grant, Ambrose Rookwood, Thomas Bates, Robert Keyes, and of course, Guy Fawkes. Mm-hmm. Each man was accused of high treason, and the penalty was being hung, drawn, and quartered.
Which is?
So, basically, they hang you to near death, lower you down. There is usually a hot sword or hot dagger, and they slice open your stomach and pull your insides out. Nice. And then sometimes they did this, sometimes they just cut you apart, but they'd get a horse to your limbs and just fucking tear you apart.
Yeah.
But Guy Fawkes was the only smart one here. He jumped up so he could break his neck and die instantly, so he was the only one that wasn't... Well, he still hung drawn and quartered, the process happened, but he wasn't alive for it.
Yeah, so he killed himself off.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people actually did that, but that's actually really smart, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
If you know you're... Like, that's going to be your sentence.
Yeah, you're already going to get hung. Why not just make it instant?
Yeah, true. True that.
Well, I remember there was a programme ages ago, Richard Hammond did, and they basically built an exact mock copy of the old House of Lords.
Yeah.
and they filled it with 36 barrels of gunpowder,
Yeah.
and it would indeed do the job.
Was that Mythbusters?
No, Richard Hammond wasn't Mythbusters.
Was he not?
No, Mythbusters was the Walrus Moustache Man.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's American. God, but yeah, they put all this gunpowder in there, and it fucking, yeah, it would have worked.
Yeah. That's really annoying me what that programme's called now.
It's not Brainiac Science View, it's not that one.
It's the one that Richard Hammond did, though, wasn't it? And it was...
It wasn't that one you're thinking of. I don't know. Well, anyway.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
But, yeah, so... oh, this show is...
Sorry, Shelby's looking at us over the table. It's 6 o'clock, which means it's his food time.
Yeah.
And he's never been a time dog, has he? He's always been like, do you know what? I'm not fussed, but right now he's looking at us because we soak his food.
Yeah.
And he's like, I smell them, they're ready. Oh.
So, you understand the story now?
No.
Oh,
yeah, I do. I just, yeah.
I can't believe you've never heard of what happened there.
No, because obviously I never paid attention to school. My memory's shit anyway. But, like, you always think, obviously Guy Fawkes couldn't have done it himself.
Yeah.
And I'd never understood the reason behind why he wanted to blow up Parliament. And then to find out that, obviously...
It's religion, yeah.
It was a group of people. It was religion, which is obviously very big back in the day.
Shush.
I know.
Very dumb.
I've lost my flow now. Thank you, Shelby.
Yeah.
What
Highly religious.
was I going to say? Oh, yeah. And the fact that he wasn't even the main man. He was just the fuse.
It's just something that...
But he was the most remembered because he was found first.
That's it. And there's... Like, I don't get it. It's like, why is there no mention of Catesby, who was the main man behind the whole thing?
I think maybe King James was embarrassed that someone in his close circle would have... and he didn't see it.
Yeah.
So that's why they blame it on someone that's really random. Not random, but like nothing to...
Yeah, but Casey wasn't in the King's Circle.
Oh,
Cecil was. Cecil's the Secret Service man with the Discoverers.
Okay, yeah.
Catesby's the man who started the plot, found Guy Fawkes, and that was his plan.
Oh, I don't know.
So, that's mad.
Yeah, but does it have the same sort of ring to it? Like, Guy Fawkes, dun dun dun, he's a bad man. But it's like...
Robert Catesby.
This is Robert, it's Catesby, yeah. Like, it's not a villain name, really, is it?
No.
I don't know whether it would have been if we got brought up.
If you say, yeah.
But I feel like Guy Fawkes is a villain name.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why we burn him every year on November the 5th.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny when I was looking at this online, like, the amount of Americans, like, why do they fucking do that? What's that about? Like, it's our own thing, let's have it.
Yeah, just, why do you celebrate 4th of July, you know? Why do you
Yeah.
celebrate Thanksgiving?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just one of those things.
But I do love that story, though.
Yeah, that was really cool. I always say that. That was really cool.
And now, the site which the House of Lords was on, which is the old one, before London got burnt down.
London's burning.
Yeah. It's just a car park now.
Oh.
Apparently, the tunnel is still there somewhere. People... It's said to still be there, but people haven't shown it yet, so I don't know if it's just like a thing kept just to the royals and like the high people in Parliament that they can see and just be like, look at this. Yeah, that tunnel they built first and it failed is apparently still there.
I feel like they would have allowed a TV documentary or something to have shown it by now if it was still there. Or it's just been tarmacked over because of the car park and no one could be asked to dig down and see it. Yeah,
that's probably it.
Yeah.
But I'd love for someone to discover that one day.
I love anything history. Like, recently, where we live, obviously we were the Bath couple, we live near Bath. They opened up the colonnades in, what's it called?
Prior Park?
It's not Prior Park, it's Parade Gardens.
Wow.
Near the Wear, by Pulteney Bridge, and they've got the original, is it Eastgate, was it? Yeah, it must have been.
Eastgate, isn't it?
Yeah, so the original Roman Eastgate that's obviously been restored over the time, but it's still pretty much original, like as in the location, whatever. But yeah, we actually got to go under that, and I think that's such a cool thing to do. Yeah. So like, if that tunnel is still there, that'd be amazing to see because I love
anything to do
old
with that.
History and shit like that.
But there's something else, when I was doing my research, apparently they found his lantern he used for that thing. So I've got. Well, I'll send you a picture up in a minute. So,
yeah, if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah, but yeah, it looks so cool. That's such a crazy bit of history there.
Yeah. I'd love to, I can't wait to be able to collect stuff like that.
Yeah. You need to watch the gunpowder thing, you're going to enjoy it.
I do. You did say it's a bit gory, though, which I'm not about.
Yeah, like, I keep forgetting, obviously, Kit Harington, I was Game of Thrones. You're
Yeah.
like, you keep forgetting what kind of actor he is and what he might be in.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. Like, they,
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert. Actually, I wouldn't say it, but yeah, one of the first deaths in there is pretty, like, yeah, it made me cringe.
Yeah.
But
I'm not about that gruesomeness, but maybe I'll watch it. Cool.
So yeah, that was that. So you've learned yourself some history there.
I did.
And you at home, I'm sure most people knew the gist of it, but not how good Robert Cecil was in there and his little spies and his discoverers with their own spies.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust a soul by then.
No. You always watch, like, historic stuff, like Tudor stuff and everything.
Yeah.
And you always wonder, like, why are they so stupid to try and plot against stuff? Because everyone back then was so loyal to the royal family and, like, everything like that. So it's really silly to plot against them. Whereas now, obviously, the royal family, I think they're still really cool. I think it's really amazing that we've got a royal family.
Yeah.
But loads of people will be like, oh, it's just people.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you wouldn't even think that back then, would you? You would be like, they are God.
I think because back then, the king was, like, powerful and the queen.
Yeah.
Now it's like, he just goes and cuts ribbons, shakes hands. I respect them, but I'm like, back to what the Tudor and the Stuarts kings were.
Yeah,
Nothing the same. A king used to go to war.
Yeah, that's true.
And like do stuff like that, and now it's like, hello. It's like,
yeah,
it's
they
such
just
a joke.
go around shaking hands.
But you think about the spy thing you're on about back in those days. If you go to Hampton Court, go in the Great Hall, and in the rafters they've got the wood carvings of like I can't remember what they call them now, the spies or the listeners or something like that. But you've got these little heads looking down.
The Watchers.
The Watchers or something.
It's something like that, but yeah, they're heads.
But like everyone, like they're in the rafters, and you'd never notice them unless you were looking for them. Just look up, and you see them there, like blended in, and they're basically just say, they don't say anything bad about the king.
Yeah, that's treason.
Or a queen. There's someone who was listening.
Yeah, it's basically to remind you that careful what you say. I'm watching.
Yeah, because you never know.
No, you never know.
I reckon I could be a sixth spy back there.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would. That'd be amazing. I wouldn't listen actually. I'd be sat there next to someone spilling like really good information. Like,
no, listen, everybody.
hello, leave me a fucking alone. Don't want to talk to people anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be the shittest spy ever because you wouldn't be able to get any information.
Oh, or get the information, just couldn't be fucked to go tell the king and be like, nah, I don't want to chat with him today.
No, I'm not in the mood, mate.
I'll wait till next time.
Maybe I'll bump into him next time. I've got to be in the mood.
Talking about next time, we hope you sit in for our next video. And we've got a really interesting bit of cryptid folklore.
I was going to say folklore. Is it more like that?
It's more like that.
Yeah.
Or is it real?
Or is it?
Or is it
I was going to say, is it real? But then you already took us. I was like,
Yes.
all right, and I'm already going with this.
Or is it just someone's pet?
Yeah.
Find out next week. And remember to like and subscribe and give us a thumbs up. And if you could rate our video on Apple, mainly, Apple's the best one for that because it puts your videos up a bit higher.
Yeah.
Well, your podcasts. But yeah.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
more likes, the more subscribes, the better we will get. Because the better technology we can get, basically.
Yeah.
Being truthful.
Yep.
We're here to be truthful. We have no bullshit here.
No. But though, the next few videos are going to be more spooky. So this was just because like of November, we had to do something about Guy Fawkes.
And to be honest, I like that we have a bit of history in there. Like personally,
Yeah.
I know it's our podcast, but
Yeah.
coming from someone in the podcast,
No.
I love learning about history and all interesting things.
Yeah.
Like, because why do we celebrate things?
Yeah, exactly. There's all these different reasons behind it.
Yeah.
So yeah, tune in next week and we'll see you then. Bye.